to your home now. All hope is not lost. Fox 43 News at 7 is helping you do-it-yourselfers get the job done. Perhaps you've made a little bit of a boo-boo and knocked a hole in your wall.
Maybe your kids have had a little bit too much fun with those Star Wars lightsabers like at our house. Our handyman to the rescue tells us this is one of the most common problems he sees. He's got tips on how to patch drywall so no one will ever know that you messed up. You know, if you've tried to make home improvements yourself, mistakes happen. For example, if you're trying to put a picture frame up there on the wall. We're going to go to our expert, Wayne Lusto, with Home Depot to tell us how to fix this problem. Hey, Wayne, why are you laughing?
Morning, Cheryl. We're going to learn how to repair drywall. So we're going to look at a couple of things. What you just saw is a very common problem. Folks can take an object like a hammer, or let's say Junior's walking around the house with a baseball bat and he hits a small hole in the wall. It's not a very tough challenge. This is really on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of difficulty, maybe a 3 or a 4. It's going to take you about 2 days because you do have to wait for some things like your drywall compound to dry. But that being said, you can do this relatively easily using just a few simple tools and a little bit of know-how.
So you've made the mistake. How do you fix it?
For things like a smaller repair, what you're going to use typically is a repair patch. And a repair patch, think of it kind of as a Band-Aid for the wall. It's got a sticky adhesive on the back, and we're going to go ahead and put it over the hole. If there were pieces sticking out and such, you'd want to remove them so that you get a nice flat surface. What we have here is actually drywall compound, or you may hear it referred to as drywall mud. I want you to think of this kind of as icing on the cake. We're going to apply this to the wall similar to how you would over a cake. We're going to go ahead and take a good bit of it, smear it on the wall, and then smooth it out. So what I've done is I've taken a little bit of the drywall compound and I kind of smear it over the patch. I want to put a little bit too much right now to where you see that as I start to smooth it, bubbles start to form on the surface. The larger trowel, what it's going to do is it's going to give me a smoother surface across the entire plane that we're working with. The more that you can smooth this out using your trowel, the less time you'll have to spend tomorrow sanding it. That's a pretty good and smooth surface. Now right now, don't do anything. Walk away. Don't mess with it until tomorrow. You need to give this at least overnight to dry. Through the magic of TV, we already have a section that is dry and ready for us to sand or smooth out. What I'm going to use here is actually a special type of sanding device called drywall mesh. This allows the drywall, the compound, to go ahead and become very powdery and just slough off very easily. Either of these are good to use. This one is if you're not going to be doing it very often or you're doing a small area. So if you want to hold the drywall sponge, I'm going to put this in a sanding pad so that we can go ahead and sandal away. And one of the major differences is the speed that this is going to give us. We're going to go ahead and use it real quick to show you how fast this actually goes through the dried drywall compound. Using the drywall sponge, on the other hand, it takes a bit longer. It still leaves a lot of stuff coming off. But all we're trying to do here is leave a nice smooth surface, basically where I can't feel any ridges around the outside edge. And now what we've got to do is just our last step. We took that little bit that we had left over down to the Home Depot, and they actually made us a nice paint match sample that goes with the wall that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a inexpensive brush, I'm going to dip it in, and I'm going to go ahead and paint over the surface. And as you can see, as I'm doing it, everything's blending in nicely, and you don't really see the repair patch that once was there. That way, when you go ahead and knock a hole in the wall, now you feel confident that you can go ahead, patch it in just a matter of a couple of days, and make a nice smooth surface where you'll never be able to tell there was anything there to begin with.
See how easy that was? Wayne showed us how to patch up a fairly small hole. Sometimes, though, you know it, the mistakes are just a bit bigger. Later this month, he's going to show us what goes into patching those bigger mistakes on your walls.